we are asked to multiply these two matrices together. So, and the first thing that we need to do when we're multiplying two matrices is determine, number one, if we can multiply the matrices together. Okay, so we'll go through the process here, and what we kind of want to do is figure out the number, what size of matrix this one is and what size of matrix this one is, and that will help us. And remember, when we're trying to determine matrices, we're looking at a specific matrix and we're trying to determine what by what, and it's always rows by columns. And so in this one we have 3 different rows and we have 2 columns, so this one is going to be a 3 by 2. Remember, it's always rows by column, row by column. Okay, so we've got a 3 by 2 here, and on this one here we've got 2 rows, 2 columns, so it's a 2 by 2. So now what we can look at is, number one, in order to be able to do this one, the interior numbers here, this 2 and this 2, must be the same. Okay, the number of columns in the first matrix has to be equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. So basically, the easiest way to do it is if these two numbers are the same, then we can multiply these two. And when we multiply these two, now we know we can go forward with it. Now, when we do multiply these two, what will end up happening is these outside numbers here are going to be what the type of matrix is. In other words, it's going to be the number of rows of the first matrix by the number of columns in the second. Okay, so this one is a 3 on the outside and a 2 on the outside, so this one is going to end up being a 3 by 2 matrix. Our answer is going to be a 3 by 2 matrix. Alright, so now 3 by 2 matrix basically looks like this. There are 3 rows and 2 columns, so it'll be a 3 by 2 matrix. Okay, so we've got that down here. Now we're going to take this one step at a time here. I've got 6 and 3 here, so I'm going to multiply this 6 times negative 3. This one's in the upper left, this one's in the upper left. I multiply those two together, and then I start moving my way down. This 3 is going to be multiplied by this 1. So I'm going to go 6 times negative 3 plus 3 times 1. And all of that is going to belong right here in this upper left-hand corner. Okay, so I'm going straight across with my rows, and I'm going straight down with my column on the second one. Hence the need for the 2 middle ones to be the same in order to actually multiply these. Okay, so I've got 6 times negative 3 is negative 18, and then 3 times 1. So negative 18 plus 3, negative 18 plus 3 would give me a negative 15. So I'm going to write that right here in the upper left because that's where this one came from. So we're going to go through the process here again with our second one. And on our second one, this row here is essentially in the middle, and that's going to go right here whenever we actually multiply all of this out. So I've got negative 3 times negative 3 will go here. Negative 3 times negative 3 plus 2 times 1. Again, we're going across here and we're multiplying down. So negative 3 times negative 2 plus 2 times 1. And you can see these, I've color-coded them. This is where my 2 came from right here. Okay, so I'm going to take these two and multiply this negative 3 by this negative 3 and this 2 by 1. It's almost as if we take these and then multiply them straight down here on my column on the second one. Well, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, and then 2 times 1 is 2. So 9 plus 2 is 11. So that will go right here. And that goes right here in the middle on the left because that's where these were located. Okay, so now we're going to take the next one here. Again, I'm going 4 times negative 3 plus 5 times negative 5, excuse me, times 1. So 4 times negative 3, negative 5 times 1. And I'll add those together. This is negative 12. Minus 5 would be negative 17. And again, I'll write that on the bottom left-hand side because that's where this one was located. Okay, so I've got all of those done for my left-hand side, and you'll notice I multiplied this top one here by this first column up and down. Now we're going to do the same process, only it's going to be the second column, and that will fill out our second column right here. Okay, so let's go through this. 6 times 6 plus 3 times negative 2. Okay, 6 times 6 plus 3 times negative 2. Well, 6 times 6 is 36. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So 36 minus 6 is 30, and that will go in the upper right-hand corner. Negative 3 times 2, I'm going to multiply that straight across here. Negative 3 times, negative 3 and 2. So negative 3 times 6 plus 2 times negative 2. I'll move that over here a little bit. There we go. Negative 3 times 6, and then 2 times negative 2. This would be a negative 18 and a negative 4. Would give me a negative 22, and I'll write that answer in here. And I've got one more to go. 4 times negative 5, or excuse me, 4 and negative 5. So 4 times 6 plus negative 5 times 2 is what it will end up being. 4 times 6 plus 5 times negative 5 times negative 2. This is a positive 10. This one is a positive 24. So our answer is going to be 34 here. I'm going to put that one in the bottom right-hand corner because that's where these were located. So this is your answer for this when we multiply those two matrices together. That will be your final answer for everything here. And you can kind of see the color code. Notice here how all of these, red 6, green negative 3, yellow 4, all of those are being multiplied in each one of these, okay? And same thing with these here, 3, 2, and negative 5, 3, 2, and negative 5 in each one of these, okay? And then you'll see the other ones are getting spread out through each one of them as well. But you want to kind of just study that for a minute before you actually start your problem and see if that helps a little bit.